To talk very briefly, maybe just for a few minutes, about the importance of grounding, and not only during these challenging and difficult times, but generally in life. Grounding. So what is grounding? And why is it useful, and why is it important to be more grounded in our life? So very often when we look at our mind, we can notice that it's very much pulled by many different things. It's almost like there's a kind of windy quality to the mind. And the mind tends to either swing to the past, so really thinking about something that has happened in the past, or we feel bad about something that has happened to us, or we feel bad about something we've done to somebody else, so we feel guilty, or just dwelling a lot in the past. So it's like the mind tends to swing, the kind of past-orientated relating. And very often the mind also swings to the future, when we seem to be really preoccupied by what's going to happen next, and a lot of planning, strategizing, and in the current climate there's a lot of future-orientated thinking that's kind of very fear-based. A lot of worry about uncertainty. So there's a kind of, I wouldn't say negative, but there's a kind of, it's almost like a kind of fear-based thinking, future-orientated thinking. So we can be excited thinking about the future and very optimistic and positive and feeling very good, but we can also be very much worried about things and think in a kind of fearful, almost negative way. So that's one quality of the mind. And the other thing that very often happens that's kind of opposite to being grounded is that when we experience difficult and challenging emotions or sensations in the body, like tension or stress or fatigue or trauma or a lot of anxiety, for example, or low mood, it's almost like our attention, our mind gets pulled, sucked in to these difficult states. And it's almost like we lose touch with the 5 physical senses. So if you've ever observed yourself, if you can reflect for a moment, when you are lost in worry, when you are lost in physical discomfort or tension or something that's very difficult, you will notice that it's almost like we've lost touch with the physical domain, the physical reality of what's around us, of what we see, what we hear, what we smell. And we get sucked in, pulled in to this, what we sometimes call the pain body, the kind of difficulty, the kind of very dense, heavy experience that resides within us. And we get lost in that, and we struggle against it, we fight against it, we try to make it go away, which only makes it worse, or we just dwell on it, we try to think ourselves out of it. And perhaps these strategies, they kind of help temporarily, but long term they don't really deliver. So with self-compassion and mindfulness, we are encouraging ourselves to be, when these experiences come, when these difficulties come, to be more in the 5 physical senses, to consciously, purposefully, intentionally practice, and it is something we have to practice because it doesn't happen naturally, to shift our attention to something that's less windy, less fluid, more solid, more in the here and now. And that's what we mean by grounding. Grounding means being literally feeling like you're connected to the ground. So that's grounding in its simplicity. And obviously here we're talking about grounding in the context of mindfulness and self-compassion. But that's the simplest definition. It's just being grounded to the earth, feeling and sensing the feet, feeling and sensing where the feet connect with the earth, with the floor, being more in the 5 physical senses. So when we go out, and I practice this every day now because I need a lot of grounding at the moment, with what's happening, and it's, even though these are wonderful times, we just having had a baby, she's going 8 months, and she's a lovely baby, but new parents, there's lots of challenges, lots of adjustments that you have to navigate. So I can tell you I need a lot of grounding at the moment. And I've actually today I try to make an effort every day. Luckily we feel very, very fortunate to live by the sea, literally 5 minutes in Bournemouth. So I go on my bicycle and I walk, take my shoes off. And yes, you're allowed to walk on the beach, as long as you don't sit and sunbathe. The police won't do anything, even though it's a lockdown. But just feeling the connection of the feet on the water, feeling the feet on the earth, and the sense of smell is very grounding. So, if you walk around and rather than being lost in your head or in your difficult emotions or difficult sensations, which is almost like a kind of washing machine effect. It's like it pulls you in and it spins you and it spins you, it spins you, and you can't escape, So rather than staying there, we can consciously, purposefully, intentionally choose to practice being and resting in the 5 physical senses. What do I hear? What do I smell? What do I see? What do I sense in the body as I walk? And that helps us to ground our attention. So it's less in the past or the future, less in the pain body, and it's more in the kind of neutral space, the comfortable neutral space of the body. And that's so helpful. It's so helpful. Because at the moment, there's, especially now, so many challenges, so much stress, and not everybody's affected by that. So if you're not, don't feel like you have to be. You can, be joyful and be happy even in the current circumstances. But for a lot of people, it's such a difficult time. We get pulled by so many different things. So it's like, come back. Just come back to your body. Come back to the neutral space. Come back to yourself. Come back where you feel the feet on the ground. And that will help you to be more stable, more grounded, more in the here and now. It won't solve our problems, but when we are more grounded, then out of that sense of being more grounded, clarity arises. More clarity. And when we are more clear, and we know what's happening with our emotions, our thoughts, even if it's not total clarity, if we have a little bit of clarity, that's going to help us navigate our whole life experience. So I think that's probably enough about grounding. I think the most important thing is just to do a practice together. So would you like us to do a short grounding meditation? Yeah, just to experience that? Okay, great. So I'd like to invite you just to make sure that your feet are flat on the floor. So really allow your feet to connect with the floor. So have them flat out, and then have your hands either palms down on the thighs or palms up. And again, you may wish to either leave your eyes open or close them, or just slightly open, whatever you feel comfortable with. So it'll be a very short 10-minute grounding meditation, a compassionate grounding meditation. So just allowing ourselves to settle. Taking a moment to really arrive more fully into the body. And just allowing ourselves to notice what's here in this moment in our body. So if it's comfortable for us, just turning our warm, friendly awareness, kind of soft, gentle awareness, to peek inside the body, to become aware of what is here. There might be different sensations, comfortable, maybe uncomfortable, or just neutral. There might be different emotions. Just allowing them to be as they are, just saying a mental hello without trying to change them in any way. And noticing any thoughts that might be here, or images, or future type thinking, or past type thinking. Again, just allowing it to be as it is. In a friendly, kind, gentle way. So just acknowledging, allowing whatever is here to be here. And shifting our attention to the breath, if that's okay for you. Maybe to the lower belly, and noticing if you can sense a kind of a rise and fall of the lower belly. Tuning into the normal breath here. No need to change the breath, just feel the breath in the lower abdominal area. Normally there's a rise of the belly as the body breathes in. And there is a fall of the belly as the body breathes out. See if that's true for you. And I'd like to invite you to shift your attention from the breath to your feet. Really noticing your feet as they connect with the floor and the ground. Noticing the point of contact, whether the surface of the feet connect with the shoe or the ground directly. Feeling the weight, feeling the pressure of the feet against the floor and the shoe. And if your mind wanders, which it naturally will, just bring it back to your feet. Just bring it back to this moment. Noticing perhaps warmth or coolness in your feet. Tingling perhaps, or just the gravity pulling the feet down into the floor. So just resting your attention on your feet. And if you find that this is challenging or you're struggling to connect with your feet, then you can always bring in a very slow and gentle movement with the toes by pointing the toes either upwards or downwards. Very gentle, very slowly, so you can get a sense of your feet. And as you curl the toes downwards or upwards, just notice a kind of holding. Notice the kind of sensations associated with that. And then release and notice what you feel at the base of your feet. And then again you can curl them up or press down, whichever way is best. Feel the kind of holding of the motion, and then release, and then just rest your attention on that release. If your mind wanders, bring it back to your feet. Bring it back to this moment in your feet. These are your feet. They keep you walking. Even if there are problems with your feet, there's more right than wrong with them. So we can even be grateful for having our feet carrying us around. And now letting go of the feet and expanding our awareness to include the whole body. Sensing and feeling the whole body. Temperature in the skin. And as we are ending this practice, I'm going to ring the bells just to symbolize the ending of the meditation. And feel free to open your eyes if you're ready. And if you want, you can just stretch a little bit, look to the left, look to the right. Maybe bring some gentle movement with your shoulders. Gentle